So
Thank you.
What are you going to do to fork off today, Judy?
I don't know. Probably nothing new.
Well, listen,
yeah.
you have a wonderful day. Always a pleasure to hear your voice, have you call in, and I know that you are one of millions and millions of people that are really doing very good, unpublicized work on a daily basis in your life, in the lives of your family, in the lives of those around you, and in my book, in my estimation, one of the true heroes, and there are millions of them out there. A lot of, the chat room is full of them, and so I want to recognize you on that level, Judy.
Well, thank you so much. That's quite a compliment, and thank you for your insight. I've really enjoyed the conversation, Robert. Have a good afternoon.
You too, Judy. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's our friend Judy Derns. Neat person. Okay, it's 11:51. A lot of snap and crackle and pop on the line today, which means we are not alone. So anyway, let's see. Let's get back to the weekends real quickly, and we'll round off the show here and say goodbye. Big day tomorrow, lunar eclipse. Full ring of fire, Uranus direct. Very interesting time. Tuesday, T-square, Moon in Cancer, just coming off the eclipse. Pluto in Capricorn, Uranus in Aries, 12/12, 12/13. From here, basically from tomorrow to like 12/13, very, 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 for lack of a better term, interesting space. Okay, so not terrible. Energy is energy, and it depends on how you roll with it, right? You can use energy to affect great change in your life if you can deal with it. And let me tell you, I'll tell you a quick story, and then we'll talk about next week's show, and then we're out of here. It seems like I'm talking about cars breaking down, but it's a Mercury retrograde, so I will share another car story with you. The car that I have now broke down on Thanksgiving. A lot of you know that story. And within 24 hours, I had a replacement part. And the universe said, here, and I had to jump through a few hoops, but, I'm driving around with a new car now. It's not new. Well, it's new to me, and it's great. And I didn't plan that. I didn't plan my car breaking down. I didn't plan getting this other car. None of it was planned. And what I was very clear of when this unfortunate event of my mode of transportation, I'm a dad. I got a kid. I've got to drive him around. His school is 7 miles from my house. I just can't get up and, walk him to school or ride a bike. I guess I could ride a bike, but so I need that car. And, through the grace and the love of a friend, she was right there. She called me right afterwards. She knew of a situation where there was a car that was available, and that car is, sitting in front of my house. So the key to that for me, though, and I'll be honest with you, was I was very aware that I was going through a crisis with my transportation. But what I chose not to do is I chose not to take it personally. I chose to, at that time, do everything in my power to work with whatever resources that I had in order to deal with the situation and not look as though that car was the end of the world for me. I was suspending my judgment around how this was going to turn out. And trust me, that's not always easy to do. I think a lot of us are programmed to think the worst, like, this is the shittiest thing just happened to me. I can't believe this happened to me. Not only did I face the daunting challenge of not having a car, but in that moment, I had to deal with one of my worst critics, which was my ex-wife, because I was taking my kid to her house. And I have a history of being, a little on the latest side, sometimes with good cause, and sometimes because, well, I don't know. I am who I am. But now I had to deal with her criticism, her judgment about the car not working, about not being at her house on time. I had to go through all of that, right? I had to go through the judgment that I would have when she would drive up in her car that would work with her fiance, and my kid getting into that car and them driving off, and me being here at the gas station waiting for a friend to pick me up so I can load my stuff just like I did with the van all those years ago, put it in his car and take off. And I did my absolute best to just be as present as possible and not allow this event to determine my life. And through the grace of God and through the kindness of friends, I have a car to drive. And I would like to think that my response to that event had something to do with it. So I'm sharing this story with you because we all have cars that break down in our lives. We have relationships that break down in our lives. We have societies and economies that break down in our lives. And none of them are going to be the end of the world. It might be the end of the world as you know it, but it won't ever be the end of the world. So keep that in mind and take it to heart that how you respond to life is absolutely critical. Do your best to live without fear and do your absolute best to not judge your circumstances because you never know how they're going to change, for better or worse. And, you know, if you're on top of the world, that's a whole other conversation. Be respectful, be grateful, and, you know, love and nurture that moment in your life. And love and nurture the moment where you're not in those places to the best of your ability. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can touch you when you approach life from exactly the same angle. Nothing. And that is where we are today with so much uncertainty in our lives and the lives around us. Okay. So let's see. Monday, we got the mashup, post-eclipse mashup. Wednesday, navigating the astrological matrix, 2 hours worth of post-eclipse notes. And then next Friday, Linda Kahanoff, author of The Tao of Equus and a number of other books that are deeply connected to the culture of the horse and what the horse means as a mythological and as a real creature, as a form of our consciousness, as a symbol, as a living symbol of our consciousness. We're going to talk about horses. We're going to talk about her work, and we're going to talk about the latest provision where they can now slaughter horses for their own. The slaughter of wild horses can take place. So Linda will be on the show next Friday. Okay. Thank you, George Green, for joining me, and thank you for everybody that called in and was in the chat room. You know the drill. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to stay up on what's possible. Have fun with that eclipse this weekend. I'm Robert Phoenix, and you've been listening to the Friday Forecast.
We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point, a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this, an alternative world branched off.